What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a blush declutter, and I was planning on decluttering all of my blushes today, but once I started filling up this bucket with just the cream and liquid formulas and it went all the way to the top, I realized we probably wouldn't have time to do everything, so I'm going to have to do a part 2 to this video and talk about my powder blushes. But I really want to go through everything and show you guys some swatches and talk a little bit about each formula, so it's kind of just a really good overview, and I hope to give you guys a lot of useful information, especially if you're planning on going out and buying any cream or liquid formulas. Maybe you'll have a better idea of what you'll like and won't like. So I'm not going to waste any time here. Let's jump right in and get started. I'm just going to try to go through them as quickly as I can while at the same time giving you some information. So I'm just going to move this bucket kind of over to the side and give us some space. So first up, we have these Tarte C Glow Light cheek and lip watercolors. So they actually can be used on the lips. I just use them as blushes personally. I have Sun Crush and Sun Rush. This is Sun Crush, which is a peachy coral. And the reason that I don't like them on my lips is because of that moussey texture, because they just feel a little bit drying to me. So I much prefer them on my cheeks. I'm somebody who doesn't like a really sticky cream blush, and I prefer them to dry down all the way. So I think these are perfect on the cheeks, just not as big a fan of them on the lips. So either way, I'm definitely going to hold on to these. I really do enjoy the formula. I feel like they're very long lasting. Next up, also from Tarte, are the Maneater Blush and Glow. So these are a little bit different than the C ones, and these are a little bit less moussey. They're more of a serum texture, but they also do dry down completely. So that's another reason I love these. Plus they have a slight hint of a glow. I wouldn't say they're as glowy as something like the Charlotte Tilbury Pinkgasm. It's almost more of a satiny finish. It doesn't have any glitter or true sparkle. So the first shade was pink. This is raspberry, which is like a beautiful dusty mauvey color. And then this one I just got recently, which is coral. So like I said, they take a second, but they do dry down eventually, and they don't leave a sticky film on your cheeks. And I just love the little bit of a glow that these have. So I'm definitely keeping these. Next up, we have the new Juvia's Place liquid blushes, and I love these so much. I did an entire video about them recently, and I did a try on in case you want to see them on the face, but these are so incredible. The formula is ultra pigmented. All you need is the tiniest little dot to cover your whole cheeks. Like if I just put that, you can see how far these actually go. So you just have to be careful with these, but they're just the perfect liquid formula. Again, they dry down completely. This shade is Blush Lily, and I love the cool pink undertone. Then we have Soft Tulip. Oh my gosh, I just put way too much. Like you'll see, I can't even blend this out without removing some because it's just way too much product. And then we have Rosy Posy over here. I love these three colors, but I almost want to go and buy more. I say as I'm decluttering blushes, and I really don't need any more, but these were the three lighter options, which I felt like would be the best suited for my skin tone. But I just think these colors are so fresh and beautiful, just perfect for spring and summer. So I'm very happy with these. A few months ago, I got these blush wands from Mally Beauty. These are called Couture Color, and I got them from QVC. And they're just kind of like a twist up with a little sponge tip applicator, very similar to the Charlotte Tilbury blush wands. So this is in the shade Let's Glow, and this one is actually more of like a light peachy pink highlighter. The other one is definitely more of a blush, but they came in a set of 2, so I just store them together. But yeah, this one is actually the blush. It's a beautiful peach, and it does have a little hint of a glow, not quite as much as the highlighter does, but there's still a little bit of glowiness there. And it is such a beautiful formula. I believe she has more colors available too, but this was just the set that I happened to get. And I really like these a lot. I have been using them, so I'm just gonna definitely hang on to those. Moving on, I have this little blush in a pot from Keys Soul Care. This is the Sheer Flush Cheek Tint, and I have it in the shade Grace. So for those of you who don't know, Keys Soul Care, even though it is Alicia Keys' brand, it's owned by e.l.f., or e.l.f. is the parent company. So I found that interesting because I wondered then if this was going to be like e.l.f.'s putty blushes, and it really isn't. I think it has a little bit more of a creamier formula than the putty blushes do. Those can be a little bit on the drier side, and I absolutely love this color. And even though it is more creamy and more emollient, when you blend it out, it dries down completely, or I would say most of the way. At least it doesn't leave any kind kind of a sticky feeling. And because it has a little bit more emollients to it, I do like to pat this on versus swiping it because I don't want it to remove the foundation layer underneath. So with a really creamy product like this that doesn't immediately dry to a powder, I would just make sure that you pat it, and it just leaves the most beautiful, really natural flush of color. So I love this one. Moving right along, let's talk about the new e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty ones. So I also have an entire video on this. I compare them to the Charlotte Tilbury ones. I compare them to the Tarte blush tapes as well. So there's a ton of different comparisons in that video. This particular shade, Magic Hour, is more of a golden color, or actually kind of like a golden bronze. So for me, I wasn't expecting to like it as a blush, but actually when it's blended out on the skin, it looks beautiful. Again, you can see it in that video if you want to check that out. Rosé You Slay, I would say, is the most like Charlotte Tilbury's Pinkgasm, but it's a little bit more sheer. I feel like these don't have quite as much pigmentation as the Charlotte Tilbury, but you can easily build them up. Berry Radiant is the deepest shade, so that one has, I would say, the most pigment. And then Candlelit is similar to Charlotte Tilbury's Peachgasm. And these do have a little hint of a glow. Again, I don't find them to be sparkly or glittery in any way, but they leave your cheeks with that little hint of glow where you kind of feel like you don't really need to add a highlighter. So I really enjoy these. I think they're a great liquid blush at a very affordable price point. We also have the Tarte blush tapes, which again, very similar to the e.l.f. and the Charlotte Tilbury. They actually come in the same packaging as the Charlotte Tilbury. So here we have the berry shade, which again, I think looks probably the most like Pinkgasm. Peach one looks very similar to Peachgasm. And then pink is actually a really soft pale pink, and I love this one. This one is a bit more on the unique side. I don't find a color match with the Charlotte Tilbury wands or the e.l.f. wands. So if you want just a barely there pink color, I think the pink one is really beautiful. And again, these do have some glow. I think they're a little glowier than the e.l.f. ones, to be honest with you. So they give you more of that blush lighter look. But again, they do dry down all the way and they don't leave your cheeks feeling sticky. So these are great. Milani released the Cheek Kiss Liquid Blush Highlight in the shade Luminoso, and I was really hoping that this was going to be a dupe for Peachgasm, and I think color-wise it is very similar, but unfortunately, first of all, the packaging on this gets really messy. It just kind of squirts out everywhere, but this is also a very sheer formula, so it's not looking like it right now because I just squeezed out too much, but this one, when you blend it out, it really looks mostly like a highlighter and less like a peachy blush, so I do think the Charlotte Tilbury is way more pigmented. See, you can kind of tell that it just hardly shows up as a color. So let me just clean this up. I'm honestly not the biggest fan of this one. I am going to hold on to it just because it was released earlier this year. And if I want to talk about it in upcoming videos, I just want to have it for that reason. But it's really not my favorite, and I don't find myself reaching for this one very often. All right, here's something I see that I can declutter right away. Not because I don't love them, but just because these are incredibly old at this point. So these are the Holika Jelly Dough blushers, and I got these from Yes Style, but I believe Ulta carried them at one point. I'm not sure if they still do, but just seeing them again is kind of making me want to repurchase them because they were some of my favorite blushes. They look like a little cushion style packaging, but inside the blush was a little bit more of like a putty-like texture. I don't even know if these are gonna pick up at this point. They feel a little bit dried out, but they had like a very powdery feel to them. So this was the shade Apricot Jelly, and they're also a little bit more on the subtle side. This might even be more so just because they're dried out. I don't even know if it's worth swatching these because they're probably not going to swatch the way that they're supposed to, but this one was Nuts Jelly, and it was like the perfect nude blush. I loved that one. Apricot Jelly was a beautiful peachy shade. Actually, I had two of those for some reason, not quite sure why. And then Grapefruit Jelly was more of like a brighter coral color. So I really loved all of these. And like I said, I do have to declutter them because they're so old. They're a couple years old now, but I would for sure repurchase these again. I'm just going to put these over here for right now. Another K-Beauty blush that I really like a lot are these Purlisse Blush Glow BB Cheek colors. So I got these on Amazon over the summer, and I'm trying to see what the date is, but it's so tiny. I think it says 12 months. So I'm probably good with these for a little while longer, but I'm pretty sure I got these last June or July, so we're kind of getting close, but I wanted to show these because they are such a beautiful formula and I really don't hear anybody talking about these at all. So the shade Cool Mauve, I almost don't find this to be a mauve as much as it is just like a nude, but it's the perfect nude if you want to keep your cheeks like very simple, if you're wearing a little bit more color on your eyes or lips and you just want a super neutral cheek. This is the most beautiful color. And then Sweet Rose is that light pink that everybody is talking about right now. This one looks kind of similar to Blush Lily from Juvia's Place, except it's not quite as purple. I think this one is maybe just slightly more pink. And these have a little bit of a moussey formula, but they also have some hydration behind it. It's not that kind of moussey formula that feels dry. Yet at the same time, once you blend them into your skin, by the way, this one is Vivid Coral. Another stunning, stunning shade. For my skin tone, I have to use like a tiny little bit of it, but look at how pretty. So what I was saying is once these are blended into the skin, like this one is already dried down over here, so they might look a little bit emollient and dewy, but they do set down and then they stay in place really well. These are an awesome cream blush to check out. Like I said, I did get them on Amazon. I don't know if they're still over there, but if they are, I'll link them down below. Moving right along, we have the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand. So I have Pinkgasm and Peachgasm, and these are the OG, the one that's just spawned all the copycats. So Pinkgasm, while it is pink, it's also kind of more like a peachy pink. It's not one of those really cool tone pinks. It's a little bit on the warmer side. And I would say these are closest to the Tarte ones in terms of just like how much glow there is. Like I said, the e.l.f. don't have quite as much glow as these do, and they also aren't quite as pigmented. So while I think the e.l.f. ones are kind of sort of a dupe for these, I would say the Tarte ones are way more of a dupe and almost identical. The e.l.f. ones, just to get the same level of pigmentation, you're gonna have to build them up a little bit, but it is a very similar product to these. So anyway, definitely hanging on to these. I really love them a lot. Makeup Revolution had also kind of tried to dupe the Charlotte Tilbury. This one is their Bright Light Highlighter in the shade Divine Dark Pink. So a lot of people were saying this was a dupe for Pinkgasm, but actually it's a much cooler tone pink. First of all, Pinkgasm, as we just saw, is a lot more of a peachy pink. And this one also, I feel like it's a little bit more shiny. It's a little more of like a highlighter type of a formula, which technically it is. It's a pink highlighter basically. So you are going to get a lot more glimmer with this one, which is totally fine if that's what you like, but I just feel like it's not quite as like a refined of a glow. The Charlotte Tilbury one is more pearly, and I would say this one kind of translates to shimmer on your cheeks once you blend it out. So I'm not really a huge fan of this one, to be honest with you. It's okay, but I wouldn't call it a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury, and I think I am actually going to declutter this one. Makeup Revolution also launched these Hydra Bright cream blushes, and I believe these were only on their website. I don't think that Ulta ever had these in stock, but these I felt like were a little bit closer to the Charlotte Tilbury ones. So they had a peach shade. These definitely had similar packaging to the Charlotte Tilbury, and I just felt like the formula was a little bit closer in the sense that they weren't as sparkly as these were. They just have that little bit of glow. So that was peach, and this one is golden. They did also have a pink shade on their website, but it was sold out, so I wasn't able to get that one. I think I'm probably going to go ahead and declutter these just because the e.l.f. ones are out now, and these I've had for more than a year, so I think I'm going to let these go. All right, next up we have the Velvet Touch Creamy Blush Sticks from Kiko Milano. I got these on Amazon last week, actually, and I showed them in my previous video, and I am just obsessed with these, especially this one, which is shade number 4. It's that bright cool tone pink, and the formula on these is insane. Like, look at how pigmented they are. They have this really soft velvety feel. They blend into the skin so beautifully, and they're a cream to powder finish, so they never feel sticky on your cheeks. So this one was shade number 4, and then shade number 2 is this beautiful kind of peachy nude. So that's a really light color, perfect for like more fair skin tones. Shade number 5 is more of a coral color. Like, how pretty are these? And then shade number 7 is like a dusty pink. So these, like I said, they're just so smoothing on the skin. They're absolutely beautiful. I'm so glad that I ended up getting 4 shades. I almost want to go get more, but definitely going to hold myself back. I need to like get rid of some stuff, not add anything else. Next up, I have these cream blush lights from Melt Cosmetics. So I have the shades Golden Hour and Honey Thief. And I think these say they have a 12-month shelf life. I've had them since they came out, which I think was a couple years ago now, so they're probably not good anymore, but I just wanted to show them to you anyway. So Honey Thief was like a beautiful pale peachy pink. Golden Hour had more shimmer, so they had some that were more of a matte finish, some that had a shimmery finish. Yeah, these definitely feel like kind of dried out, so I'm probably gonna have to declutter them, even though I did really like them, but I'll just quickly show you what they look like. So this one's Honey Thief, and then we have Golden Hour. So they're just a nice, really ultra lightweight formula. They barely feel like anything on your skin, and they do dry down all the way. So they're a beautiful formula. Mine are just unfortunately way too old to keep at this point. All right, next up, let's check out some ColourPop Super Shock blushes. So I actually have a ton of these. I have some of the shimmery ones, some of the regular. I also have some that were from different collections, like the Snow White collection and the Mariale collection. I do actually declutter these every so often, usually like somewhere between 6 months and a year. They tend to kind of get dried out. So all of these are relatively new, and I think they're probably still okay. So there are 3 colors from just the regular line that I've repurchased so many times. I honestly have no idea. Prenup, Birthday Suit, and Between the Sheets. So these 3 are kind of like my go-to colors because they're just so easy to wear. They're like the perfect kind of pinky nude shades. So Birthday Suit is like this beautiful soft pink, and these are very soft. They have kind of a putty-like texture, similar to the e.l.f. putty blushes, I would say, but these maybe are even a little bit more like velvety. They have a little bit of a drier feel. They pretty much dry down to a powder instantly. Between the Sheets is the one that I tend to reach for if I just want a very nude cheek. Again, if I'm doing more colorful eye look and I just want neutral cheeks, it's just so perfect. And then Prenup is a soft pink with a little bit of a sheen. Even though this isn't their pearlized formula, it still has almost like a little bit of a satiny glow, and it's really not that much different than Birthday Suit anyway. I want to say Prenup used to be almost like a deeper purple pink, and they've changed it since then, which I'm kind of disappointed about because I used to love it originally. And this one was getting a little bit harder to swatch too, so I think I'm probably going to declutter this particular shade and just keep the other 2. And then their pearlized finish is also one of my absolute favorites. I have 360 Degrees, Jump Turn, and Brute Flute. These are amazing. Let me show you guys these colors because they're just gorgeous. I feel like these 3 colors are a little bit more unique for blush colors, but this is Jump Turn. It's kind of like a bright magenta purple. It is so beautiful. It looks like it's going to be really bold, but when you blend it out, it's really not because it's a little bit more on the sheer side. It looks so stunning on the cheeks, and the pearlized finish really is not glittery at all. It just has like a little hint of sheen that just keeps it from being completely flat matte. And then 360 Degrees is this beautiful coral. So let me show you what this one looks like. These are perfect summer colors. I actually got these last summer and they're still perfectly creamy, so I'm really happy about that. And then Brute Flute, I got this one in the fall and I wore it so many times in videos. I would always get questions like, what blush is that? Because it's really more of a unique color. It's like a pinky bronze and it just goes with so many different looks. It's really neutral. It has that little bit of sheen to it. Oh my gosh, love it so much. So I'm definitely keeping those. All right, then we have some limited edition colors. These were from their Snow White collection, so I don't know how long these are going to be around, but I'll just show them to you really quick. These are also the pearlized finish. So we have I Wish and Fair Enough. So I Wish is like a really baby pink, and then Fair Enough is this beautiful bright watermelon color. And both of these, like I said, they have the pearlized finish to them. And then I have 3 shades from the Mariale collection that they had sent to me also in PR. So again, these are going to be limited edition and I'm not sure how long they'll be around, but this light pink is Digital Baddie. And this one's just that really soft light pink that I feel like everybody is gravitating toward right now. This one is Virtual Reality and it's like a soft nudie peach. For some reason, I'm finding these a little bit harder to pick up, which is weird because I got the pearlized ones over the summer and those are still swatching fine, but I feel like these are kind of a little difficult to pick up. They're sort of drying out a bit. I may actually declutter these ones because they're just not performing like they used to. So this one is Just Playin'. I mean, these 3, they're beautiful colors, but I just don't think I'll reach for them if they're not performing very well. So I'm going to put these in the declutter pile. Next up, I have 3 of the Hourglass Vanish blush sticks. These also have been one of my favorite formulas. They're actually kind of similar to the Kiko Milano ones. Now that I think about it, they have that same really weightless velvety feel. They look so smoothing on the skin. So this shade is Wonder. They really do look like the Kiko. I could honestly say that those are probably a dupe for these, and these are really, really pricey. This looks just like the peachy one that I had from Kiko. Then this one is the shade Devoted, which is like a lighter pink. And then we have Loyal, which is a nude. So I'm definitely going to hang on to these. I really love them a lot, but now that I know that the Kiko ones are more kind of affordable version of these, they're not identical, but I would say after using these for a really long time and now just getting those, they really do remind me of these. So I think the Kiko would be a very solid alternative in case you had your eye on these, because like I said, they're very pricey. Another stick blush formula I really love that I've talked about so many times on my channel are these NYX Wonder Sticks. These are so good. I feel like they're so underrated. I don't really hear a lot of people talking about them, but I have 2 different shades. I have the light peach baby pink, which is the lightest option, and then this one is bright amber and fuchsia, which is I think the mid-toned option. Then there's one that's like even deeper that has some reddish shades in it, I think. But let's look at light peach and baby pink first. So these, like, look at the pigmentation on these. They're actually, again, very similar to the Kiko ones, really similar to the Hourglass. They have that velvety texture. So here's baby pink and light peach. And they blend out like a dream on your skin. I like to just draw them on right from the tube, and then I just blend them either with like a damp sponge or a brush, or even my fingers sometimes if I'm in a hurry. And then this one is the bright amber and the fuchsia. This one's a little bit brighter, but if you blend it out, like if you have a lighter skin tone like me, you can still totally make this one work. But also if you have a deeper skin tone, it's definitely going to show up because these are very pigmented. Like I'll show you what it looks like when you blend them out. Like as you blend them, you can definitely get a way more sheared out look if you want. Also, because these are so pigmented, I feel like they almost stain your cheeks and they really stay on all day. They have amazing staying power. So definitely underrated hidden gem at the drugstore. Next, let's talk about the Rare Beauty blushes. I do have some full sizes and I also have a couple of little samples that I got like in a holiday kit or something. So I do think I'm actually missing one color. Oh, here it is. All right, so I have them all. This one, actually, Bliss is the first one that I got, and I believe I have to declutter this because it's really old. All of these I got within the last couple of months, so I'm gonna hang on to those and declutter this one, but I will swatch it just to show you what it looks like. So Bliss is the lightest shade. It's like a really pale peach. And this is another formula kind of like the Juvia's Place blushes that is really pigmented, and a little tiny bit goes a very long way. This one's the shade Hope, which is like a nude pink, probably one of my favorite shades from them. And then Joy is like this bright coral shade. It actually leans even more toward the orange side because I feel like coral most of the time has a little bit of pink in it, and this one is very orangey, but it's still beautiful blended out on the skin. Encourage is kind of like a dusty purpley mauvey shade, and that one is beautiful as well. Then we have Happy, which is another one of my favorite colors. This one's kind of like a lighter bright pink. Look at how pretty that one is. And then we have the shade Truth, which I think is probably the deepest shade that I own. But if you just use a tiny little bit, again, it's beautiful. I was wearing this one a lot over the winter. So I definitely recommend these as well, especially if you like a very pigmented blush. These will honestly last forever. I feel like the smaller ones are almost better to get because I'll never get through these larger ones before they expire. That's what happened with this one. This was like the first one I ever bought. So that one unfortunately is going in the declutter. I'm going to keep these. Next up, I have these Lottie London Sweet Blushes, and honestly, I'm not sure what color this is because the sticker isn't there anymore. This one's blushing pink, and I wasn't the biggest fan of these. I got them pretty recently, but they're kind of one of those blushes that stays very dewy on the skin, and it just like never really dries down. It has a little bit of an oily feel, so I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. I mean, I think there are definitely people who will really love these. I'm just not completely sold on them yet because I do like something that dries down all the way. Like, see how the oil is coming out? I actually probably have to shake this up or something. Let's see. Yeah, they just kind of separate a little bit. It's still doing it. But yeah, this isn't really my favorite formula. I do like a lot of things from Lottie London, but these are just kind of too dewy for me. Because I just got these recently, I'll probably just see if friends or family want them, if they like this type of blush, because I really hate for them to go to waste. But they're just not the formula for me, unfortunately. Okay, wow, so these are a blast from the past. These are from Hard Candy. They're the lip and cheek tint. I don't believe they make these anymore. I could be wrong, but I feel like I got these a while ago now. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna go ahead and put these right in the declutter pile. I'm not even gonna open them up because I have no idea what's in here at this point. Oh, I have some of the Milk Makeup blush sticks. I got these, I wanna say, in like different sets and things like that. I don't think I bought these individually, but I have the shades Work. Oh, I have 2 Works and Perk. All right, so I know I don't need both of these Works, and this one looks like it hasn't been used at all. So I'm gonna put this one aside. I'll just give it to somebody that I know. And so let me just swatch this one. So these I feel like are a really nice formula too. I don't think they're quite as velvety as like the Hourglass ones or the Kiko ones. They have a little tiny bit more emollients to them, but they do dry down on me. So this one is Perk. It's kind of like a light peachy coral. It's a really nice, fun, happy color, so I like that one too. But these are a little bit more on the sheer side. They're just almost like no makeup. I do like them, so I think I'm gonna keep these for now. The Tower 28 blushes are definitely ones that, unfortunately, they need to go. I did buy all the colors like over the years, but these have, let's see, I think that says a 12-month shelf life. It's so hard for me to see this tiny little print. I've had these way longer than that. I've probably had them at least 2 years, and a lot of them are getting like a little bit dried out. I've held on to them only because I like to do comparisons with these and other cream blushes in my collection, but I think going forward, if I want to do that again, I'll probably just repurchase them. I don't really use these though because I have these ones from Moira Cosmetics, and these are pretty much identical in terms of the formula, but the Moira ones just seem to hold up better. I think it's probably because Tower 28 is a clean brand, and I don't think they use as many preservatives as like a lot of other brands do. So I've been just using the Moira ones, and they're like literally identical, the packaging and the formula. So I'll just show you quickly. Like they have this really dewy sort of a feel to them. And I would say they dry down most of the way, probably not completely. I do have dry skin, so sometimes formulas dry down all the way on me just because my skin sort of sucks them in, and they may not dry down all the way on everybody, but on me, these dry down enough to where I don't feel like they're sticky. That shade was I Trust You, and then this one is I Need You. I Love You is kind of like a bright red. These are all so pretty, honestly. I Respect You is like a beautiful nude shade. Then we have I Like You, which is like a mauvey purple. I really love that one. I Cherish You is a brighter pink. And then we have I Adore You, which is like a bright coral. This one, I Miss You, is the one that I've been wearing so much lately. I love that one. And then I Want You is a peachy shade. So they just come in the most beautiful colors, and the formula feels identical to these. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter these. It's definitely time. All right, so quick check-in. I'm keeping 57 so far and decluttering 21. All right, next we have these cream blushes from About Face. I also got these very recently. These are called Cheek Freak Blush Balm, and I really like these. They have mixed reviews on the Ulta website. Some people were saying that they were just like hard to work with or had no pigment. I did not find that at all. I actually love the texture. They are like a blush balm. They're super thin. They feel like nothing. I mean, they are a little bit sheer, but you can easily build them up, and they have this very silky feel to them. So this one is Champagne Room. And then this purple one is Shagged, and this color is so beautiful. It's a little bit more on the unique side. And in a swatch, they might not look like much, but on the skin, they really give that blushing from within sort of a look. It doesn't actually look like you're wearing blush because they just melt in, and they are the thinnest texture of probably any of the cream blushes that I have. They're just beautiful. beautiful. By the way, I'm sorry, my hand's getting a little bit red because I keep on using a makeup wipe to clean these off. I'm probably gonna switch to the other hand quickly and just let this one sort of calm down. Okay, so next let's check out these Merit blushes. So I actually have one in the older packaging, two that are in the newer packaging. And I wanted to mention this quickly because I was thinking the old packaging, I'm definitely gonna have to throw this out, but these have a 24-month shelf life, which is sort of unheard of for a cream product, especially because I think Merit is more of a clean, quote unquote, beauty brand. So I'm actually shocked that they have that long of a shelf life, but I love that. So I think this one is still gonna be okay. So this is the shade Terracotta, which is, again, like a beautiful nude shade. And these have a little bit more of an emollient texture, but I don't find them to be sticky. I think they do kind of blend right into your skin. They leave a little tiny bit of dewiness behind, but they feel so silky. So this is Stockholm. This is actually one of their newer colors, and I love this. This one, again, it's that light pink that's really trendy right now. And then we have Cheeky, which is just like the perfect blush color. It looks like the color that my cheeks turn when I come in from the cold. So these are just really nice if you like a very natural looking blush and something that will look a little bit dewy on your cheeks, but they're so smooth and silky that they don't feel sticky or tacky. So definitely hanging on to these three. All right, so here's one I think I'm gonna declutter. These are the Cheek Dew from ColourPop. So most of these I got just sent in PR. And these are a serum blush. I mean, you can see it's kind of like really liquidy in the tube. I think this one is also just separated because it's really old. And these are not my favorite just because they're super dewy on the skin. This one is a newer one, so I'm okay with swatching this one. It's not gonna be all contaminated. And I love this color, actually. This is Natural World, but I don't know if you will be able to tell on camera, but these do feel just a little bit sticky. They're just very greasy. I wish that wasn't the case because some of the colors are just beautiful. And again, this is just totally a personal preference thing. I know plenty of people who do really love these, but for me, I just feel like they slide around too much and you really almost have to wear these with no foundation underneath or very minimal. And it can't matter to you if it's gonna lift the foundation up because I feel like these do that on me almost every single time. So I do love this color. I think it's absolutely beautiful. All of the colors are, but they just don't work for me as a formula. So sadly, I'm gonna go ahead and put these in the declutter. This blush is from Rituel de Fille, and this is Desire. It's the Inner Glow Cream Pigment. It doesn't have a shelf life on it, so I'm not sure, but I've had this for quite a while now. So this was a really beautiful kind of purpley shade that I thought was really nice. Oh, wait a minute. This is completely dry. Like I can't even pick up any pigment at all. So unfortunately, this one's gonna have to go. I feel like I haven't even had this one all that long. I don't think it's been quite a year, but wow, did that dry out quick. Okay, that was easy. Another blush I know I'm gonna have to get rid of, and I'm so sad because I'm pretty sure they don't make these anymore. This is from the Cream Shop or the Creme Shop. This is the Très Cheek in the shade Je ne sais Coral. These were a cushion blush. I got this at CVS and it was a little pricey for CVS makeup. It was, I wanna say 20 bucks for this, but this was such a cool product. So it's just like a cushion foundation. I don't know if this is still good in here, but it had the coolest texture and this color was super beautiful. Yeah, it's actually kind of dried up. It's not even coming out. So I will be getting rid of this, but I just thought that these were amazing, especially while they lasted. I'm just sad that you can't get them anymore. I do actually have some blush sticks from Huda Beauty, and I want to say I had more colors of these. They might be further down somewhere in the bin, so we might come across them later, but I'll just swatch the three colors that I have really quick. I have Perky Peach, Proud Pink, and Rebel Red. So these again are a super nice formula. They're not as velvety or have an immediate dry down like the Hourglass or Kiko Milano sticks. They have a little bit more of a dewiness to them, but on me they do dry down after a little while of wear. So this one is Proud Pink. This one has a beautiful sheen to it, kind of like a pearlized effect, so you almost don't need to wear highlighter with this one. And then we have Rebel Red, which is kind of like a brick red. It's not a fire engine red. It's a really nice fall color. So I do really enjoy these a lot. I also had gotten these blush sticks from Palladio on Amazon, and these are the I'm Blushing 2-in-1 cheek and lip tint. So these you can actually wear for both. And I felt like these were so similar to the Huda Beauty sticks, except I think the Palladio ones were out first. So they're not a dupe or anything, but I felt like they were really close. So I just wanted to put these kind of underneath. So we have the peach shade, While the colors are similar, I feel like the formula of the Palladio is more similar to the Kiko and the Hourglass ones. You can see just in a swatch, it's not as dewy as these up here. It dries down a lot faster, which honestly is my preference. This shade is Precious, which is the pink. This one is Precious, which is a beautiful light pink. And then we have the shade Darling. And then this one is the shade Lovely. I'm just gonna put it over here. So the pink one and this one have a little bit more glow to them, while I feel like this one is kind of more like a satin finish, and this one as well. But I do like these. I just got them recently. I just got the Huda ones earlier this year, so I think I'm just gonna hang on to all of them for now. All right, next up I have a discontinued blush. These are from Item Beauty, and these are the Blush and Light Cream blushes. I have the shades I'm Crushin' and Oopsies. I really enjoy these a lot. I'm so sorry that Item Beauty in general has been discontinued. These had a really interesting texture. They actually felt like a powder, but melted into a cream on the skin. So they were really cool. This is I'm Crushin', which was a beautiful coral shade. And then Oopsies was more of a pink. However, even though these are gone, I do have a drugstore dupe that I wanted to share with you. I have talked about this in other dupe videos of mine, but the Blush Mellow blushes from JCat Beauty, which I think are $4 or $5, are the identical texture, and these two colors that I have are almost the same as the Item Beauty. So really, I don't need them both. We have Sweet and Chic and Tutti Fluffy in these. So let me just show you quickly. This also feels just like a powder when you put your finger into it and then melts like a cream onto your skin. And like, look at how close those colors are, and the texture is the same, and these feel completely weightless on the skin, which I really love. So I'll show you this color really quick. I think the JCat one is even just slightly more pigmented than the Item Beauty. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and hang on to the JCat ones and just declutter the Item Beauty ones, because these do have a 12-month shelf life, and I got them right around 12 months ago, plus they're discontinued. So I'm just gonna stick these over here, and I'm gonna put these in my keep pile. Next up, we have these CoverGirl Clean Fresh blushes, and these also have been discontinued. They've replaced it with something that I don't like as much. I felt like these were very pigmented, and they also had like a little bit of sheen to them. I'm not going to swatch them all just because you can't get them anymore anyway, but I'll just show you quickly what one of them looks like. So they were a liquid formula, and when you blended them out, you can see they kind of have this little bit of sheen. They were really pretty and kind of similar looking on the cheeks to the Charlotte Tilbury ones, like the Pinkgasm, Peachgasm. So I kind of feel like these were before their time, because if these had been released now, I think everybody would kind of be going crazy for them. They're even more pigmented than the e.l.f. ones. But sadly, I think they discontinued these at least a year or two ago. So I'm going to go ahead and declutter these because they're also extremely old. I've had these for a couple years now. All right, next I have a couple of cream blushes from Jones Road. I have the shades Bright Pink and Rosy Brown. And I haven't loved everything that I've tried from Jones Road, but I do like this. I think this is one of the best products that I've tried from them. I didn't like the Miracle Balm because I felt like it was very greasy. And these, while they are a little bit on the dewier side, this is the Bright Pink one, I felt like on my dry skin, they do dry down once I blend them out. So I like the formula. I don't feel like they're anything super unique or special necessarily, but I would say they feel similar to something like the Merit blushes, but they have more pigment. So the Merit ones, as you saw a couple minutes ago, they're a little bit more on the sheer side, and I feel like these kind of retain their pigment a little bit more. But like I said, they're okay. I think Jones Road is very expensive overall, and you can get similar products for a lot less. So that's why they're not really wowing me. I'm just gonna keep them because I got these more recently. Another stick blush I have is the Clinique Chubby Stick, and I really love this one. This is Amped Up Apple, and I think this one is a great formula. It has more of that velvety texture, and this is definitely my preferred formula. I would reach for this one definitely over something a little bit more dewy like the Jones Road. And I also think this color is really pretty and it's perfect for my skin tone. So definitely keeping this one. These are the NARS Multiple Blush Sticks, and these are also pretty pricey. I want to say they're like around $40 now. I think they used to be in the 30s, like 35, and they've definitely gone up. I was shocked when I saw how expensive these were. I have the shades Maui and Orgasm, and these can be used all over the face, eyes, lips, cheeks, so that's why they call it the multiple. And Maui is definitely my favorite color. I think this is beautiful. These also have a very kind of dry, powdery feel to them. So they're not ultra creamy, and that can make them a little bit more difficult to work with. Sometimes I find that these can get a little bit patchy. I don't think they're my favorite stick blush. I would say, again, I would go back to the Hourglass ones or the Kiko, because those have the same velvety texture, but they're just, like I said, they're easier to work with and they're more pigmented. Like with this one, I have to kind of go back and forth several times just to get the color to show up. And then when it does, like, it's a little bit patchy. So this is Orgasm. And this one has a little bit of a sheen to it, but yeah, like you can see, it kind of looks a little chunky. And these are not old or anything. I got these just a couple of months back. So when you blend them, they do smooth out a little. But I think I have an easier time even with something like the Palladio blush sticks that I got from Amazon, and those are really inexpensive. So I think if you love the particular color of one of these, go for it. I think, like I said, once you blend them out, they're okay. But they're really, really expensive for what they are, and I think you can get stuff for a lot less. Not necessarily the Hourglass ones, but if you're looking for a good blush stick, I think you can't go wrong with the Kiko ones. So I still am going to go back to those. All right, I have a couple of liquid formulas here that I just have one in each color, so I want to share these quickly. This is from XX Revolution, and I know I'm definitely decluttering this. This was like one of the worst liquid blush formulas I have ever tried. I'm actually not going to swatch it because this has cinnamon in the formula, or like cinnamon oil, that's supposed to plump your cheeks like you would plump your lips, but really what it's doing is just irritating your skin, and it made absolutely no sense to me. I have no clue why they decided to go this route. I can kind of see putting it in lip products, but even then I don't like those types of lip plumpers because I just feel like they cause a lot of dryness and irritation. Why would you do that to the skin on your face? I don't get it at all. And I didn't realize, like, I didn't really read the description when I ordered these. I just assumed that it was a liquid blush. So I absolutely hated that product, and I don't say that very often, but it's definitely getting decluttered. And then this was a product I actually really liked a lot. Unfortunately, it's just very old. I'm going to have to get rid of it. This is the Juicy Pang blusher from Yes Style. I think they also have these on Amazon. I'm trying to see what the color is. This is CR01. This is from Apu, which is a Korean brand, and this is a really nice formula too. I don't know if this is still good or not. I'll put a little bit on anyway. This blush is a serum style blush, so they have a really nice texture, kind of similar to something like the Rare Beauty blushes, but not quite as pigmented. I think these are maybe just a little bit more sheer than those are, but same kind of feel, same kind of texture, and they're really, really pretty for a very soft look. So I would absolutely buy more of these at some point. I've had other colors in the past as well and decluttered them. I've had a lot of these over the years, and I really do enjoy them. So just wanted to mention that one quickly. All right, let's talk about these Laura Mercier Tinted Moisturizer blushes. So I didn't get these all that long ago. I think they came out last year, so they're probably still okay. These say 18 months. I have Promenade and Southbound, and I remember doing a dupe video with these because I felt like they were pretty similar to these from Maybelline. These are the Cheek Heat blushes. And I remember absolutely hating the Cheek Heat when they first came out. I felt like they weren't pigmented, they didn't show up. But then everybody kind of got into more of the subtle blush look during 2020, and it was all about that very natural looking makeup. So I'll show you these kind of compared to each other because I really feel like they're so similar. And I got a lot of comments on that video saying, no way, the Cheek Heat are terrible. That wasn't really the point of the video. I was trying to explain how similar they were to these Laura Mercier ones. I don't think the Laura Mercier ones are very pigmented either. So I'll show you guys these two shades first and just kind of how they blend. So they have a sort of a watery, again, serum-like texture, but they're very light, and I'm not even spreading these that far. So they do look a little bit more pigmented than they do once you put them on your cheeks. Let me just blend it a little bit more. All right, so we have these, and they're really not supposed to be extremely pigmented. Then we have the Maybelline Cheek Heat blushes. So this one is Nude Blush, which I thought was kind of similar to Promenade. And I mean, like you could see, it's kind of very similar. It has that serum-like texture, and then once you blend it out, it does sheer out quite a bit. But I feel like the pigmentation is pretty similar to the Laura Mercier. And then we have Coral Ember, which I felt like was similar to the Southbound shade of the Laura Mercier. It's a pretty peachy coral. So the Laura Mercier ones have since dried down, so that's why those don't look dewy anymore, and these ones will dry down in a second, but I just feel like these are definitely a good dupe. Whether you like this formula or not, they are incredibly similar, I think, to the Laura Mercier, and I just want to show you this color too, Pink Scorch. This is one of my favorite shades, actually, and it's that really light pink. It's definitely very cool toned, so I'll just put it over here. It's a beautiful blush. And I never really hear anybody talking about these. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and keep all of these just because they're not that old and I've only had them for probably less than a year. So these are gonna go over here. Right away, I can tell you that I'm gonna be decluttering my She Glam blushes. I have the shade Aha Honey in their Cosmic Crystal Mousse Blush. And then their blush sticks, I have Next Dimension and Wild Love. And I just don't support She Glam anymore. I felt like these were actually really good products, but after hearing how their parent company, Shein, treats its employees, I just didn't feel like I should support a company like this anymore. Not to mention they found some really scary stuff in Shein clothing, like high levels of lead and things like that. So I don't know that I necessarily trust their makeup manufacturing either. So I know that She Glam is a really affordable brand, and I cover a lot of those here on my channel, but I just feel like there are so many better brands that I could support. So I'm going to be decluttering those. Next up, we have the Pep Bombs from I'm Mimi. I got these on Amazon, and they also do sell them at JCPenney Beauty now if you have one of those near you. And these are such a cool formula. They come in these little tubes, and I'm pretty sure you can use them on your lips as well. It doesn't say it on the tube, but I'm pretty sure on the outer packaging it said you could use them everywhere. So these actually have an expiration date on them, which is awesome. 6/4/23, which is next month. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to declutter these. Unfortunately, they come in these humongous tubes. I want to say they're only around 10 bucks each, so they're very affordable, but I just feel like you'll never go through a big tube like this, especially with how pigmented they are. You only need a little bit. And I have obviously used these many, many times, but I'll show you the colors in case you're interested. So we have shade number 3. You really just need a little dot like that, and they are super blendable, and they do look dewy when you first put them on, but if you blend them all the way into your skin, they do dry down into kind of like a soft moussey finish. So I don't love them on my lips as much as I do on my cheeks, because on the lips they're just a little tiny bit drying. This one is shade number 4. Why don't all brands put expiration dates on their products? That would be so awesome. And then this one is shade number 2. Yeah, these are starting to have a little bit of like a weird smell to them. So I think it is time to get rid of them. But like, look at how pigmented they are. They're so beautiful, just a really nice pop of color. And like I said, they're very affordable. So I am going to be decluttering these, but they're definitely a product that I would repurchase. Next up, we have these LA Colors Blush Up Cheek and Lip Cream. I got these at Dollar General. I don't know if they're at other dollar stores, and I can't seem to find them online. So I think it's kind of just an in-store only thing. I have the shades Marvelous and Nude Glow. These are beautiful. I think they were $2 or something like that. They're really nicely pigmented. This color is stunning. It's like a dusty light pink. And look at how pigmented these are. Like, I put way, way too much on my hand, but they're just so silky and smooth. They do dry down all the way. So again, there's something that I like to use on my cheeks, not so much on my lips, but they're a really nice formula. I'm always impressed with LA Colors stuff. They are the sister company of LA Girl. So if you like LA Girl products from Ulta and CVS, LA Colors is kind of like their dollar store version. Speaking of LA Girl, we have their soft matte cream blushes, and just for reference, again, this is the same exact company. The blush up from LA Colors is 0.42 ounces. These are 0.27. So you're getting like close to double the amount in this one, and these are $2. These are, I want to say like 6, maybe 5 or 6. So they're not expensive, but you just get a lot more bang for your buck from the LA Colors, and it's the same brand. Granted, this formula is slightly more dewy. These are definitely way more velvet, and you can't use them on your lips. You can use this one on both. So I want to show you these as well, because even though they do come in a smaller tube, you need even less of this product. It's amazing how far the product actually goes. So I'm just going to put like the tiniest little dot, and I'll show you, like, look at this. It just keeps on going. I definitely made the mistake of using way too much when I first got these. So just a little tiny bit. I recommend putting it on your hand first, and then either dip your finger or a brush or sponge into that, just so that you don't use too much. So this was the shade Grace. Then we have Rosebud. This one is a light pink, absolutely gorgeous. Then we have Blissful. This one's a pretty terracotta color. And then we have Kiss Up. So these are the kind that dry down instantly. There's no wait time. They have a really powdery finish and they last the entire day. They're so pigmented, it's like they almost stain your cheeks. So these are great. They're just something you have to kind of be careful of if you have really fair or light skin. Just don't use too much. Here's a product I hadn't seen in forever, and I really hope that Revlon brings these back because these were the most incredible blush. These were the Photo Ready Cheek Flushing Tint. Again, another product that definitely was before its time. I don't think these got enough hype back then, but I could see these getting so much hype now on TikTok and just everywhere because cream blushes are so big. I feel like Revlon always discontinues their best stuff for some reason. It's so weird. So I had the shades 1 and 2, and these are so many years old. I'm a little bit afraid to even open them up and see what's in here, but they had this giant doe foot applicator, and they were like this gel formula. I don't even want to put it on my hand, to be honest with you. It's probably riddled with bacteria, but I just wanted to show you, like, this was a beautiful hot pink, but they would sheer out so nicely on the cheeks, and they would leave a stain behind. They were so good. This one had like a coral color. I actually almost want to like write to Revlon and let them know that they need to bring these back. I think they're going to do amazing. Moving on, I have these new blush sticks from Essence. These are the Baby Got Blush, and I honestly haven't used these that much. I got them very recently, and I noticed on the Ulta website that they didn't have the best reviews, so I'm not sure exactly why. I think I used them once, and I don't remember them being bad necessarily. Like most Essence products, these are very, very affordable. And they do have a watermelon scent to them. So this one is Tickle Me Pink. Again, this is kind of that color that everybody's going crazy for right now. And this is actually also Tickle Me Pink. I'm not going to open this one. I think Essence sent me PR, plus I ended up buying them myself. So I'm going to put this one aside just for somebody in my family. But yeah, I don't really remember this being a bad product, so I'll have to play with it a little bit more and see what the deal is, but I really do like the color, so I'm going to keep it for now. All right, guys, we're getting there. It doesn't look like it, but we are definitely getting there. I can see the bottom of the bin. All right, so next up we have the Flower Beauty Gel Crush Lip and Cheek Sticks. These are so old. Oh my gosh. I don't know what the shelf life is on these. It doesn't say on the package, but I've had these for several years, so I'm pretty sure they're probably no longer good, but I do want to show them to you. I think Flower Beauty does still make them, and I feel like these are actually a very solid dupe for the Makeup by Mario blush stick. I compared these in a dupe video, and they have that same kind of gel-like texture, which I'll show you here. So this is the shade Raspberry Crush, and I think this one was the one that was a dupe for the color that I have in the Mario. So let me just show you this really quick. All right, so the only thing I wasn't crazy about with these is the stick is a little bit awkward when you try to put it on, but you see how it kind of has like this gel-like texture. I don't know if it's easy to see on camera, but it's a little tiny bit dewy. Again, it's not sticky and it does dry down most of the way. And then the Mario stick I have is Pale Petal. So this is pretty much almost the exact same color as the Flower Beauty, and the formula feels pretty much the same. It also has that gel-like texture, but look at how close these look on the skin. When they're fully blended out, you honestly can't tell the difference between them. So I'm definitely keeping the Mario one because I got this not that long ago, and like I said, I think I would repurchase the Flower Beauty ones because I do like the formula. I just think they're way too old at this point. So this one was Strawberry Crush. I'll just show you the other two colors in case you're curious. This one, again, is that really light pale pink. I'm so surprised at how many blushes I have in that color. These are some that I've just completely forgotten about. And then we have Raspberry Crush down here, which is the deepest color that I have. Even though I am planning to declutter these, I think I'll probably hang on to them just for comparison purposes until I can get some new ones. I know Flower Beauty's website is currently shut down, so their stuff is getting harder and harder to find. But I'm going to see if my local CVS has those and then buy some replacements. I also have one of the Flower Beauty blush bombs. This one is in the shade Bitten, which is actually a very deep shade, so I have to be careful with this one. It's super pigmented. I did have all of the colors at one point, but I decluttered most of them a couple of months ago because they were just super, super old and they were turning and they looked off and they smelled off. But this color Bitten, it's beautiful. It's kind of like that cold girl look that everybody was doing over the winter. If you have a skin tone like mine, you just have to use it so sparingly. Probably what's on the tip of my finger here would be about the amount that I would use. So if you blend it out and shear it out, it's beautiful. You just have to be gentle with it if you have a lighter skin tone. But I really like this, and I definitely want to go pick up the other colors again. So I definitely have to make a CVS run and see if I can grab those. I have 2 shades of the Glossier Cloud Paint, which I think I'm going to go ahead and declutter because these are so incredibly old. I want to say maybe like 4 years at this point. Yeah, these actually have a 6-month shelf life too. So I kept these around longer than I needed to because I would use them to do comparison swatches. I wasn't using them on my face, but at this point, the texture and everything is probably so not right. I'm just gonna maybe get some new ones at some point now that they're at Sephora. So I'm gonna leave those there. I do have 1 shade of the Rose Ink cream blush. This is in the shade Foxglove. Somebody told me when I was talking about this in a video that this looks like a toilet seat, and now I cannot unsee that. So when you open it up, here's what the color looks like. And this is kind of like a thicker formula. I do like this, and I haven't had it that long, so I'm going to keep it. This color is definitely like a warmer tone. It's a peachy color, and I think it's really beautiful. It definitely shears out and looks lighter on the skin than it does in the pan. Another cream blush that I only have 1 of, but I would definitely like more, is the Honest Beauty in the shade Rose Pink. So this is also a really nice formula. And come to think of it, very similar to the Rose Ink. It has the thicker cream texture. It has a little bit of dewiness to it, but eventually does dry down on my skin. It actually almost looks pretty close. I think this one's maybe a little bit pinker than Foxglove over here, but I feel like they have the same amount of like just slight dewiness between them. And I love this formula. Plus the packaging that it comes in is so nice. This feels so heavy and just really high end overall. I know it doesn't come in that many colors, but I wish they would make more because I really like it. All right, guys, so I did find 2 more of my Huda Beauty blush sticks. So this is the shade Batty Berry. See, I knew I had a few more colors. This is probably the deepest shade that I have. And then I have Coral Cutie. I think this is it as far as the Huda blush sticks go. So I just wanted to show you those really quickly. I also have some of these Tarte Sea Breezy cream blushes, and I'm pretty sure these are being discontinued. They were on sale on their website, and I haven't seen them at Sephora lately. So I do have a couple of colors, and they are still available on their website, so I'll just show them to you really quick. This is Pink Sky. This is one of the minis that they had, and this is actually feeling a little bit dried out. It still picks up fine. Let's see. They have a 12-month shelf life. I think I got this last summer, so it's probably okay, but these are a little bit on the drier side anyway. They're not as dewy as the Huda ones. They're like a cream to powder finish that dries down right away. And then I have Peach Sunset, which is a little bit more peachy than Pink Sky, but it still has a little bit of pink in it as well. So there's those 2. And then I have this bigger split pan one. So this has Pink Sands and Seychelles, which is a bronzer. So Pink Sands, I think, has a little bit of a glow to it. Yeah. So it's a little bit more on the peachy side. And then the bronzer looks like this. It's a little bit more of a warm tone bronzer. But like I said, I do really love the formula of these. I think I'll hang on to them for just a little bit longer, but they're probably going to get decluttered fairly soon. Next up are my Milani cream blushes. These are the Cheek Kiss blushes. I have quite a few. I have 6 of them. And these I've had for probably at least 2 years now. So I do need to declutter them, not because I don't like them, just because they're a little bit older, but I am going to repurchase them for sure because this is one of my favorite cream blush formulas, and I've talked about these so many times. So I'll just quickly swatch all of the colors for you really quick so you can see what they look like. This one is Nude Kiss. This is the one I probably wear the most. It's just the perfect pinky nude shade, and these have a little bit of a dewy formula at first, but then they do dry down on me all the way to a powder finish once you blend them out. This one is Euro Peach. Then we have Coral Crush. I really like this one too. It's like a nice bright pop of color. This one is I Cherish You. So that's that one. Then we have Blushing Berry and Merlot Moment. These actually are also very similar to the Moira cream blushes as well, but I think these maybe dry down just slightly more than those do, but they kind of have the same emollient feel when you first pick them up in the compact. The Physicians Formula Natural Defense Multicolor Sticks, I believe, have also been discontinued. I'm not 100% on that, but I haven't seen these around lately. These are in the shades Natural Rose and Soft Pink, and I'm pretty okay with that. These were not my favorite formula. They're a little bit more on the velvety side, but for me, I just felt like they kind of slid around when I would go to blend them. Like, here's this color. And then as you blend it, it just would kind of almost blend to nothing. And then I would try to layer it up and it would just wouldn't stick to itself. I don't know, it wasn't my absolute favorite. So I'm probably gonna go ahead and declutter these because I don't really wear them all that often. And I've also had these for many years at this point, so I have a feeling they're probably not good anymore. Next, we have the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Blush Stick in the shade Peach Bums. So this one kind of went viral. I had talked about it in a video because I felt like on the skin, it looks pretty much exactly the same as Charlotte Tilbury's Pinkgasm. It really does. I know it's in a stick format and that one is a liquid, but once you put it on the skin, the color is almost identical, the finish, it really is such a good dupe. And then I started seeing that dupe all over TikTok once I talked about it here. So it just kind of caught on, and I remember these like selling out for a while and people couldn't find them. But it's a great affordable blush stick. They do have other colors as well. This is the only one that I have at the moment, so I'm just gonna keep that one. I also have this liquid blush from Ulta Beauty. This is the Stay Cheeky liquid blush, and I have the shade Dusty Pink. I thought I saw somebody also say that this was a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury. I kind of didn't think so. It does have a tiny little hint of a glow, but this color is completely different than Pinkgasm. It actually is more of a cooler tone pink blush, which I personally love, and I do like this formula, so I'm gonna hang on to it. I do like the little bit of glow that it has without being glittery. So I'm gonna put this one over here. I also have these duo blush sticks from Jouer. These are called the Blush and Bloom Uplift Cheek and Lip Duo. So you can use these both on lips and cheeks. I believe these are still at Sephora. I saw them on the sale page. So they're around 22 bucks now, I think. So they're a really good deal, but you can also get them on the Jouer website. So I'll show you guys quickly what these look like. I really love this formula a lot. They have that really pigmented velvety feel similar to the Kiko Milano ones. So look at how pigmented that is. This one, by the way, that was Amuse Me. And then on the other side is Uplift Me. So this one's kind of like a pink and peachy duo, great for lighter skin tones. And then this one is Celebrate Me on this side and Promise Me on the other side. I guess I'll just put it here. So these two colors, I mean, they look kind of similar to each other. This one's a little bit more of like a dusty rose. This one is a pink, but it almost leans a little bit peachy. So this one's also a really pretty one. I feel like I can definitely wear this on my skin tone as well. And then the last one is Inspire Me, which is like a bright coral. And the other side is Empower Me, which is a red. So these I have to go a little bit more sparingly with, but overall, I really love these. I think definitely if you can still grab them and you like a blush stick, I love that you get the two colors in there that are more complementary. In a way, they're kind of like the NYX ones. And in fact, this one kind of reminds me of the NYX Baby Pink Light Peach. And then this one reminds me of the Fuchsia and Amber one that I swatched like towards the beginning of the video. So the NYX ones are almost a dupe for these. So that's kind of interesting. Now, I never thought about it before, but swatching them all together like this is really kind of making me find the dupes in my collection. So I'm going to keep those for now because I do like them. I also really love the Wander Beauty blush sticks. These are actually a blush and highlighter stick. So I have the one in Coral Rose for the blush and Nude Glow for the highlighter. And I really love this formula too. I think these are really nice. Again, super pigmented, very smooth, kind of like the Hourglass and Kiko sticks. And then here's the highlighter on the other side. This is very smooth. It's not glittery or sparkly. It just gives the perfect amount of glow. These are a little bit more on the pricey side, which is why I don't have too many of them. I did have another one at one point that I decluttered because it was really old, and then I ended up replacing it with this one. But this is one that I actually reach for pretty often. I like the combo of the blush and the highlighter because it's like two products in one. And I have traveled with this before. It's great for that. So I'm going to keep that one. I also have some blush sticks from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And one of these is the coolest, most unique color. It's this one, Latte. And I also have the shade Peachy Keen. So these have a brush on one side, which I really don't use. I mean, I tried it out, but I didn't feel like it was the best at blending the blush. So I really don't use it all that much. But the shade Latte is this beautiful dusty nude pink, and it's just a unique color for my collection. I really love it on my skin tone, and I can't think of one other cream blush that I have that looks quite exactly like that. So I think the undertone is beautiful and it's really an interesting color. And then Peachy Keen is just like a peachy color. There's not really anything too unique about this one. I feel like I have a lot that looks similar to this, but I like the formula a lot. It's another smooth velvety texture with a lot of pigmentation. These dry down all the way, as do the Wander Beauty on me, and they blend really well on the skin. So definitely hanging on to those. This next one is from Armani. This is the Neo Nude blush, and I have it in the shade, I don't know what shade this is, I guess 50? It doesn't seem to have a name. This actually has a 24-month shelf life. It's made in Korea, and it's the Melting Color Balm for cheeks and eyes. So I really love this color. It's more of a purple shade, and this is super similar to the Item Beauty blushes or those Blush Mellow ones from JCat. It has that powder feel. As soon as you touch the compact, it really doesn't feel like a cream, but then when you put it on, it sort of melts into a cream on the skin. And this color is just gorgeous. I normally wouldn't spend this much on a cream blush, but I bought this because of the color, because I didn't really have much that looked like this. So I still really love this one, and I'll definitely hang on to it. I also have this Laura Mercier cream cheek color in the shade Praline. I actually bought this on the recommendation of Mel Thompson. I miss her so much. This is the most beautiful cream blush color too. I tend to forget I have this one, but I want to pull this out again and use it some more because it's, again, a very nice formula. It has a powdery dry down and it has nice pigmentation. So definitely gonna put this one over here. From NARS, I have their Air Matte blush in the shade Freedom. So this is kind of like a whipped textured blush. It has a moussey feel. It's a little bit more creamy than something like the e.l.f. Putty blushes or the ColourPop Super Shock blushes. It's just this really kind of cushiony, moussey formula, and I really like it a lot. This color is also so stunning. This is another one that I think I have to pull out and just use a little bit more often because I forgot that I had this one, and it really is just the prettiest color and texture. So that's a great one. And similar to that, actually, is this one from Morphe. Actually, this is the Wonder Tint Cheek and Lip Mousse in the shade FYP. And this is a similar color, and the texture I find is very similar to the NARS as well. It has a really creamy, fluffy, sort of whipped texture. I'm just gonna put it right here next to the NARS. I think this color is just slightly brighter of a pink, but they're pretty close. I think blended out on the skin, you wouldn't really be able to tell much of a difference. I know I did compare these in a dupe video a while back, and I still think that they are so incredibly similar. I'm not the biggest fan of Morphe products, but I really do love this formula, and I would absolutely go back and buy more of these. I don't know if it's something that they still make. I've had this for a while. They may have another cream blush formula by now. I don't really keep tabs on Morphe too much, but I do like this one, and this is one of the few products from them that I definitely would recommend. From Walmart, I got these AF94 blushes. These are called the Playdate Multi-Use Cheek and Lip Color. This is another brand I really don't hear much about. I don't know if they're still around, but I don't feel like I got these that long ago, maybe last year. I have the shades Soft Smile and If You Dare. And I also thought these were really nice too. They kind of have a velvety feel with the powdery dry down, and the colors are really nice, and they're super affordable too. Definitely, I think under 10 bucks. This color was a little bit more on the unique side. It was a pretty purple, and when you blend it out on the skin, it works really well for my skin tone, even though it kind of looks like it wouldn't. It's just a really pretty soft pinky purple once you blend it. So I'm definitely hanging on to these. They have a really silky feel, and they're just ultra blendable. All right, guys, we're getting there. We're getting close. Next up, we have some from Undone Beauty. So I have the Lip to Cheek palette. This is a 3-in-1 color cream, so you can use it all over your face. This is in the shade Rosewood. This is actually a very similar color to Foxglove from Rose Inc. I think I compared them in a video. And then this is the Mega Creams, and this has 4 different shades. You have a highlighter, 2 blushes, and a bronzer. So I'll swatch this one first. And this has a thicker, more like dewy sort of cream feel, really, really similar to the Rose Inc., almost identical, in fact. And this color is super close to Foxglove as well. And then this one is beautiful. I just got this very recently at Ulta, actually. And I love the bronzer in here because it's a little bit more of a rosy bronzer. So I'll just show you the colors. This is the light pink. There's the bronzer. This pink has a little bit of a sheen to it. It's not quite like a highlighter, but it does have a little glow. So there's this one. And then here's the highlighter down here. So on my dry skin, these do dry down all the way if I blend them out, but they have quite a bit of emollients to them, so I don't know on combo or oily skin if they are going to dry down completely, but they don't feel like they're really sticky. They have a nice, smooth, silky feel. So I'm going to be hanging on to these. I also have one of the blushes from LYS. This is honestly one of my favorites. This is Confident, and I wear this a lot with rosy toned eye looks. This is the prettiest color. Unfortunately, I've had it for a while and it feels like it's kind of getting dried out. I should probably get a new one because I used this one so much. Like, look at that color. It's just gorgeous. I love to pair this with palettes like the Huda Beauty Naughty Nudes. That palette is one of my favorites, and this is the perfect blush color to go along with it. This does have an 18-month shelf life, but I kind of feel like I've had it at least that long. I'm going to check in my Sephora order history and see when I purchased this, and I think I'm going to go ahead and grab another one. I'll keep it for now, though, just to remind me that I have to get a new one. This is the NYX Sweet Cheeks blush. This is another one that I keep meaning to get additional colors of because I love it so much. I have the shade Nude Tude, but they do have other colors that I think look really pretty, and this is a liquid formula that I think is just awesome. It has that moussey, powdery dry down that I love in a cream blush, and I love this dusty pink color. In some ways, this reminds me a little bit of that Anastasia blush stick that I said was more of a unique color, but this one is a little bit deeper than that one. It's still along the same lines though, and I really love it, so I'm keeping that one for sure. I also have two Milani cream blushes. These are the Cheek Kiss. I just got these very recently. I had a ton of these. I had them in, I think, just about every color, and I did declutter them a while ago because they were really old, but I bought these two at Ulta. I especially wanted this light pink option because I'm just really into a light pink blush these days. This one is a little bit more on the peachy side though. It's not as cool toned. It's more of a warm light pink blush, but I still think it's pretty in its own right. And I really love this formula too. It's not quite as moussey or dry as the NYX one, but they do still dry down all the way. This is Rose Romance, and this one's just a pretty rosy color. This is one that I actually repurchased. I had it before and I loved it so much that I grabbed a new tube. So these are definitely staying with me. Next up are the CoverGirl Clean Fresh All Over Dewy Tints. So if you remember, I mentioned when I was talking about these that they had come out with a new version. These are the new Clean Fresh blushes, and as you saw, these had so much pigmentation and they had a little bit of like a glow to them. These are more watery. They're actually kind of similar to the Maybelline Cheek Heat or those Laura Mercier tinted moisturizer blushes. Actually, they're very, very liquidy. And they just have this really dewy feel, and they kind of blend out to not a lot of color. So I guess they're good if you want something super sheer, but I almost feel like once you blend these out, you can hardly see them, and I had to keep like layering them up, but they don't also layer upon themselves very easily because they're so dewy. I like the colors that they come in. That one was Dreamy Pink. This is Mauvey Kiss. I like the colors. I just feel like they're a little bit too light for me. When I put them on my cheeks, they just almost disappear. I mean, you can see them here, but I feel like when you're actually putting them on your face and really blending them out a little bit further, it just gets to a point where you can't even really see them. They're kind of, for me, a big step down from the old Clean Fresh blushes. So I am going to hang on to them just in case I want to talk about them in a video because I love to do comparisons and these are not expired, so I'm just going to hang on to them anyway. But if this wasn't my job and I was just keeping blushes that I'm going to wear, I would definitely declutter these because I don't see myself really wearing them. Doll 10 has some of the, oh, this one's actually Bobbi Brown. I was going to say, I thought this was a Doll 10 one. Let me talk about the Bobbi Brown one first because it's the only one I have. So this is the Pot Rouge for lips and cheeks, and this is the shade Powder Pink. I did get this one fairly recently. I want to say it was around the holiday time. I don't know if it was during an Ulta sale or maybe it was a Black Friday sale, but I loved this color. I thought this was so pretty, and I really do like the formula as well. It reminds me a little bit of the Rose Ink formula or the Undone Beauty. It's a little bit thicker and creamier and really nice pigmentation. So I'm keeping that one for sure. Okay, Doll 10. These blushes, I know I have raved about these in so many videos, and so many of you guys have told me how much you love them once you tried them out. And Doll 10 often has gift sets of these where you can get like 6 colors for 29 bucks or 30 bucks. So they have really great deals on their website on these particular blushes. So if you're interested, definitely check them out. I know they're constantly changing the colors, so I don't know if any of these colors are still available, but I will swatch them for you guys just in case they are. But be forewarned that you may not be able to get some of these. So I don't even know if these are all going to fit on my hand, but okay. So this color is She's a Doll, and these are the silkiest blush They have a weightless feel. They instantly dry to a powder finish. I would say these are probably like my favorite cream blush formula of all. Stepping Out, ooh, this is like the most beautiful purple. So there's that one. Kiss on the Chic is another one that I really love. This is a great color if you just have like a smoky eye or something more colorful and you want a really neutral, like barely there cheek. That's a perfect color for that. You're Making Me Blush has a little bit of a sheen to it, so not all of them do, but this is one of the few that does. This one is Doll Squad, which is more of a peachy color. Vegas Nights is another one that has some sheen to it. This is a beautiful kind of purpley shade like that one, but just with some shine. Pop Star Peach is a beautiful coral. And then Picturesque is the prettiest bright pink. I love this one too. And then Doll Goals is like a rosy red. I'm just gonna see if I can fit it right there. Definitely the most beautiful cream blushes. I love all the colors. The formula is fantastic, so I highly recommend these, and I'm gonna keep them. Doll 10 also has some new cream blushes in different packaging, so I think these are actually on their sale page now, so they're probably just doing away with the older packaging, but these feel like the same exact formula. They've just been renamed to the Doll Skin Genius Cheek Flush. I do like the new packaging a lot. I feel like it just goes with their other products a lot better. So again, we have Rose Flush. I'll just put it right here. Gorgeous color. And then we have Berry Flush. So these are the newer ones. You can probably get a really good deal on the older ones now. Also from Doll 10, they have a cream blush stick. This is in the shade Boss Babe, and this one also is a really beautiful formula. This is a gorgeous dusty pink. Actually, this one looks a lot like Latte from ABH. It's like the perfect cool tone dusty pink. And this one also has that really velvet feel and it dries down all the way. So I really love that. I also have a couple of the e.l.f. monochromatic multi-sticks. These aren't my favorite. They have a little bit of like a shimmer to them. This one is the shade Glistening Peach. I just feel like they're a little bit, like you can see they're kind of patchy and a little bit crumbly. They're just not very smooth. I'm probably going to declutter these now that I think about it because I don't love them. This one is Bronzed Cherry. I also am not crazy about the colors that I have. They're just kind of eh. And then this one is Sparkling Rose. And it almost has like chunky glitter pieces in it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and declutter these. I also have some beautiful cream blushes from Believe Beauty at Dollar General. These are the Color Me Cream Blush, and I have Doll Face and Tropical Sunset. These are so old though. I think I need to declutter them, and I may go ahead and repurchase them at some point because especially this color, Doll Face, I really loved it. It's a light baby pink and it's just beautiful. And this is a great formula too at an amazing price point. I think Believe Beauty in general is such an underrated brand. They're super affordable. Everything's under $5. But I think a lot of people don't talk about them because like you can't link to it online. You have to live near a Dollar General. But I've had these for quite a few years now, so I think it's just time to let them go. I'll probably get some new ones next time I'm at Dollar General, but I really like those. Also, I just got these recently, Florence by Mills Cream Blush. I have Shy Shy and Stellar Sabrina. So I know I'm going to be keeping these because I just got them, but these have a nice velvety, silky feel. They actually feel kind of like the Doll 10 blushes a little bit. This one is such a pale color. It doesn't show up on me very well. Oh my gosh, did this compact just break? Yes, it did. Oh my gosh. All right, well that sucks, especially because it's a cream blush and if this kind of is open, it might dry out. All right, so that's no good, but I do really like the formula of these. I think these are great. Sigma also has some brand new cream blushes that I just got recently, and I'm very excited about these. These have a nice silky weightless feel, again, similar to the Doll 10 ones. So I really love this formula a lot. This one's the shade Pashmina. I'm just gonna put some stuff over on this hand because my other one is getting kind of red. So this is a pretty kind of corally pink. This one's Corda Rosa, like their palette, and it's a beautiful nude shade. Then we have Coral Dawn, which is a really pretty peach. I'm not the best at swatching with my left hand, I'm sorry guys. And then Nearly Wild is a little bit more of a brighter shade. So I haven't played with these too much yet, but they definitely feel and swatch similar to the Doll 10 ones. They have a really weightless formula and they do dry down all the way. I really enjoy these a lot, so I'm gonna hang on to those. All right, the Profusion Blush Hour blushes are actually a really nice formula as well. They look exactly like the She Glam blushes, which again, I'm getting rid of She Glam stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and declutter this one, but they come in pretty much identical packaging and the formula feels the same as well. So the Profusion ones I've actually had for a long time, and I think I might have to declutter these because they're so old and probably gross at this point. But the She Glam ones, yeah, oh yeah, these have like a really strong smell all of a sudden. But these have this little puffy applicator and they're really serum-like texture. They're very, very thin and they come in a ton of beautiful colors. I kind of don't want to swatch these because I feel like they're a little bit gross right now, but I do have swatches of these on my channel in case you're interested. You could just use the YouTube search bar and just search for the Profusion Blush Hour blushes and you can find the swatches, but I'm going to declutter these just because of their age, but I really do like the formula and I think they're a great affordable liquid blush. Moving on, we have the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Matte Beauty Blush Wand. So I have mixed feelings about these. I think that they're a really nice formula, but unlike their glowy ones, I feel like these you could kind of get the same look with a lot cheaper blush options. Like for example, the LA Girl cream blushes that are in the tubes that are really pigmented. A lot of these colors line up with those, and I have done comparisons on my channel as well in case you want to check those out. But I think matte blushes, even if they're not in this exact same packaging, you can get really similar looks with a lot of matte blushes. This Pillow Talk shade is probably the most unique of the bunch, and it's a little bit harder to match, but I believe it's the shade Hope from Rare Beauty. I think it's that one that looks almost identical to this one on the skin. So I just feel like the glowy ones are a little bit harder to find because when it comes to cream blushes that are at the drugstore, there aren't a lot of glowy options at the moment. So this one is Peach Pop. And then we have Pink Pop, which really is like a light peachy color. It's not really that pink. And then Dream Pop is a deeper red shade. So I just got these. I'm going to keep them for now, but I do think you don't really have to spend all the money on these because there are so many, like we've seen throughout the video, other cream blushes at the drugstore for way less money that I think are just as pigmented and look pretty much the same once you blend them out on the skin. Hard Candy has these face-off liquid blushes, and these I have mixed feelings on. Some of them are great, some of them not so great. So the two colors that I'm not crazy about are these two right here. I was super excited that they had a lavender shade. Unfortunately, it just doesn't show up on the skin. So this one is the shade Pop Star, and it's just so light. It shows up now, but if I go to blend it out, you won't even see it at all. And I tried layering it up so many times and it really just like disappears into the skin. And then this one is the shade Be Real. And this one also, like, it's a nude blush and it's pretty. It definitely shows up better than the purple one. It's just not really a color of blush that I wear all that often. So I'm not a huge fan of that one either, but I do really love these two colors. So this one is my favorite, Born Yesterday. And also Who Is She is a really pretty berry color. So what I like about these two is that they have some sheen to them. And I was just saying that it's hard to find a drugstore cream blush that has a little bit of sheen, but these actually do. And like, look at how beautiful that is. It's such a pretty pop of pink and it's a nice cool tone pink. And then this one is like a gorgeous raspberry color. So I really like those two. I do think that they're worth getting. The other ones, not so much because they're really not going to show up. But I am going to hang on to these for now just because they're a newer product. I may still want to talk about them again. All right, guys, we're almost there. I have some from Beauty Pie. These are the Super Cheek and I absolutely love these two. I think they're such a good formula. So let me just show you all the colors. We have Fresh Faced. These are kind of a moussey texture, actually very similar to the NARS one or the Morphe one that I showed a little while ago. They turn into a powdery, velvety feel as soon as you put them on your cheeks. So they're really, really nice. Bare Blush is one of my favorite colors. I love this slightly cooler, dusty pink. It almost has like a little bit of purple behind it. That one is gorgeous. This one is Universal Pink, and I really like this color too. It's the perfect pop of pink, and I think a lot of different skin tones can wear this one. And then we have French Raspberry, which looks kind of deep in the pan, but if I use it sparingly, I can totally still wear this color. So I love all the colors. I love the finish of these. I think these are definitely worth buying if you have a Beauty Pie membership. And then last but not least, we have the e.l.f. Putty Blushes. So I have the original ones, and then I also have the luminous ones that came out last year. I want to say the originals came out in 2021, I think it was. I actually have a whole video trying them on my cheeks, actually both of these when they first came out. So If you're curious to see what they look like on, definitely check out those videos, but I'll quickly show you just some swatches of these. So first up we have the shade Bora Bora, which again, it's a really bright, cool tone pink. I really, really like this one a lot. And these also have that soft, moussey kind of a formula that dries right down to a powder. This shade is Maldives, which is like a brown. And then Bali is also a brown, but it kind of has a little bit of orange behind it. Actually, these two didn't swatch the best, and these are the older versions. I actually purchased Bora Bora again, so this is a newer one, and I can tell by the label because before you could hardly find the shade name, and this one they made it a little bit more prominent. So this is a newer one. These are like at least 2 years old at this point, so I'm probably going to declutter some of my older ones because they just don't seem to be swatching very well. They seem like they're a little patchy. I'm going to hang on to Bora Bora though. This one is Tahiti, which is also one of my favorite colors, but unfortunately these are the old ones, so yeah, they're just really not swatching the best, and unfortunately they're getting almost like a little bit dried out. So this one is Fiji, which is a beautiful bright orange. I definitely want to pick up some of these colors again. I think these are such a good affordable cream blush. This one's Caribbean, which was like a deeper red shade. And then we have Bahamas, which is like a peachy color. Yeah, they're really hard to pick up these days. And then we have Turks and Caicos. I also bought this one recently. This is in the newer packaging. So I'm going to keep this one and declutter the others. But like I said, I probably will go back and buy some of the original shades again because I really like these. And then the Luminous Putty Blushes I got much more recently, so I'm definitely keeping these. And they're the same exact formula, they just have some luminosity to them. So this one is Bermuda. I love this color. Then we have Maui. That's another one that I really am obsessed with. I love that color as well. Barbados was one that really surprised me because I was like, I don't think I'll like a brown blush. But when I put it on in my try-on video, it actually looks so good on the skin. It gives you that kind of like tan, sunburned kind of a color. It's so pretty. And then Belize is like a shimmery peachy color. And then Isla del Sol is like a beautiful pop of orange. That one's really nice too. It's very flattering on the skin. And St. Bart's is a super pretty rosy color. So those are the Luminous Putty Blushes. And guys, that is the entire bucket. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these in my drawer. I'll show you what everything looks like. I think I can finally fit everything into one spot, and then we'll kind of count up what I kept and what I decluttered. All right, guys, so let's do a final count. So I have 74 blushes that I have decluttered. So that's what's in this bin right here. And then this is my cream blush drawer. I have 138 that I'm keeping. So I didn't get rid of quite half, but I think I did a pretty good job in the sense that I can now fit everything in here, and I don't have to worry that the products that I still have are expired. And I love just keeping everything really neat and organized. By the way, if you're curious about these organizers, I got them on Amazon, so I'll be sure to link those down below. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for part 2 when we'll go through all of my powder blushes next. I also do have a recent foundation and concealer powder declutter, so if you want to check that out, I'll go ahead and link that right on the screen and you can see that one next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it so much, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Take care, guys. Bye.